Right, so I've shared my whiteboard. So initially, I would like to talk about the mean, standard deviation, variance, all that stuff once again, because that is very important. And then we'll talk about probability. So let's talk about a question. It is also a past paper question. It says, a sample of 36 data values give summation x minus 45 equals minus 148, and summation x minus 45 squared equals 3089. The question is to find the mean. Find the mean and standard deviation of the 36 values. All right. Let's understand the question quickly. A sample of 36 data values x gave summation x minus 45 equals minus 148, and summation x minus 45 squared equals 3089. Find the mean and the standard deviation of the 36 values. Now they are obviously talking about values of x. Okay, this was not written in the question, but this should be certain. When they are saying mean and standard deviation of the 36 values, they are actually talking about simple x. So we need to find the mean and we need to find the standard deviation. Okay, as I've been telling you, in statistics, formulas are very important. Let's write down the formula for mean. So generally, mean is summation x over n. Now in this case, we do not have summation x over n. So how do we do such questions? How do we find the mean? Okay. Now, as I've been telling you, let's say you have this thing. We are doing a working for finding out the mean, okay? We do not have summation x by n, but we do have summation x minus 45, that is minus 148. Now, I told you guys for finding out mean, you can certainly use summation x minus a divided by n plus a. We were doing minus a, so now we will do plus a just to neutralize the effect of that minus a. Okay, so again, in order to find the mean, I will do this over n and then plus what? Plus this number, that is 45. Although this is the general mean formula, but since I do not have information about summation x, that is why I would be using that formula. Okay, so summation x minus 45 is minus 148 divided by n, that is 36 plus 45. Yes, can you please use your calculators and tell me the value? It should be 40.8888. Okay, so we can write that down as 40.9, and this is going to be the answer. All right, now I would like to emphasize on the importance of this question. This is extremely important, and you need to understand for mean, we need to do some extra steps. Okay, so let me write down this in proper brackets with both the scenarios. So it could be that you have plus A, it could be that you have minus A. And if it is plus, you would be doing minus, and if it is minus, you would be doing plus. Okay. All right, I'll explain this. Just give me 1 second only. All right, this is your formula. So basically, it could be that you have summation x plus a. If you have plus a, we do minus a. If you have summation x minus a, we do plus a, because by doing this plus minus a, we are trying to cancel out the effect of this thing. Okay, so it is the opposite. Since here it was minus, so I added 45. If I had plus 45, I would have subtracted it. So is this thing okay? Any doubts with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you okay with this?
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Okay,
you.
perfect. Now let's talk about another thing. Let's say the examiner wants you to find summation x. The other part of this question is standard deviation. We'll come to that, but let's say this is the question. Now you need to find summation x. Okay, now you have multiple ways. You have your mean, so either you can do it this way: mean is equal to summation x over n. Mean is 40.9 equals summation x is what we need to find, n is 36, and then 36 into 40.9, and it would give you 36 into 40.9 is
1472.
very good, 1472. Okay, this is your summation x. All right. Okay. Now, as I was telling you that we can do this through multiple ways. This was method one, method number one. Okay. This is exactly what I was asking you guys to find. So in the question, we have this, and let's say you were not asked to find the mean, okay? And you need to find summation x. So how can you do it directly? So I'll erase the mean part. You know the formula, how to use the formula for this case. Let's talk about the method two. Method number two for finding summation x. Okay, now we need to use common sense. Okay, common sense. Let's not get into too many formulas. What we know is summation x minus 45 is minus 148. This 45, this number right here, is subtracted from all the x values. That means we have subtracted 45 36 times. Okay, so in order to find the genuine summation x, this is not genuine summation x, this is summation x minus 45, we need to add 45 36 times. I repeat, this would be the genuine summation x. This is what we have. What exactly it is? This says that you had 36 different x values, and from all of those 36 values, you have subtracted 45, and then your sum is minus 148. After subtracting 45 from those 36 values, what if I add 45 36 times? I would get 1472 again. This is also 1472. Okay, so the fact that you can use both the methods, it's completely your choice, but yes, the question could be about finding summation x as well. Yes, Ishal, any doubts with this?
Oh, yeah. 1472.
Ishal, are you there?
I will learn both
Okay.
methods, I think.
All right, sorry, say it again.
Oh, I said I will learn both methods. methods. I think it's cool.
Okay, are you clear with this thing? Are you clear with this formula? This is very important.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So Zahib has just joined us. Zahib, this is a past paper question, and it is basically this, that summation x minus 45 is given, summation x minus 45 square is given, and you need to find the mean and standard deviation. Okay, this is the general mean formula, but whenever you have something being added or subtracted with x, this is how your formula is modified. Okay, so we had summation x minus 45 in order to find mean, and this would be mean of x. You can use the sum directly. You can use x minus 45 divided by 36, but since we are doing minus, so I will do plus and the same number. Okay, we have a here, we have a here, so I'll add 45 just to cancel out the effect of this number, and the mean turned out to be 40.9. This was the mean. Okay, this is the first thing we discussed. Then I was telling them how to find summation x. Once you have your mean, you can use this formula right here to find summation x. You know mean, you know n, you can find summation x. But let's say you do not have mean, you were not asked to find mean, and you were directly asked to find summation x. So this is what you have. You have summation x minus 45. What do we understand by this? That you have 36 values, and from those 36 values, you have subtracted 45. So how to get summation x? Just add 45 36 times, okay, to the sum, and this would give you summation x, and this is going to be the answer. Yes, do you understand this, Sahib?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, okay. Now the next part is finding out the standard deviation. For mean, you know, the formulas are different. We need to add and subtract, add or subtract something according to the scenario. Okay, if it is minus, we are adding 45. If it is plus, we are subtracting that number. But for standard deviation, when we were talking about some past paper questions yesterday as well, I told you there's no point in doing extra steps when you can do it directly. So both the formulas would be the same, and you would get the same answer for both of them. All right, okay. So let's talk about standard deviation. Now, in general, if we talk about the formula for standard deviation, it is under the root.
The square root of
Very good.
summation of
Square
x
root summation x square over n minus yes
the
summation
mean.
x. Very good. Minus mean or minus this. Okay, because at times we do not have the mean, that is why I keep on writing this, but this thing certainly is your mean without any doubt. Okay, this is the formula, and you need to find the standard deviation of your data. You're not supposed to find the standard deviation of x minus 45, but standard deviation, if you are using x minus 45 squared, and if you're using x minus 45, you are going to get the correct answer. So standard deviation in our case is going to be calculated by under the root summation x minus 45 squared divided by n minus summation x minus 45 divided by n square. Okay. Now what exactly we're talking about? We're talking about that we need to find the standard deviation of x, but you do not know what exactly summation x squared is, so you cannot do it with this data. Okay. But the fact that if we are using this value and this value instead of summation x, you are going to get the same answer. The answer would not be different. Okay. So for mean, we are doing some extra steps, but for standard deviation, the formula is same. Old standard deviation is same as new standard deviation. Old is basically for simple x and new is for x minus 45, and both of them are going to give you the same answer that is given. Okay, so always remember, for standard deviation, if you have this much data, there's no point in calculating summation x squared first and doing it that way when you know that this would give you the same answer directly. So let's find the standard deviation quickly. This is going to be under the root summation x minus 45 squared is 3089 divided by 36, that is my n, minus the mean, and that would be minus 148 divided by 36 squared. Okay, yes. Can you please simplify this and tell me the value?
Okay.
All of you, okay?
Mm, okay. Mm, 8.3.
Very good. It is 8.3. Yes, well done, Ashal. Very good. Zahib, did you understand this question? Any doubts with this?
Yes, no, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Okay, now we have a new student as well. So you would not be able to understand all this because we were already discussing this, but the next topics are new. So that would be okay for you as well. Okay. So we are done with standard deviation, variance, and mean. We'll practice
Ma'am,
more. Yes.
we found mean to be 40.9.
Yes. 40.9. Yes.
What would be wrong for you? Yeah, 40.9. What would be
40.9 was the
what
mean
would
for
be
summation
wrong?
x by n. This, it was the mean for
Okay.
that part. Okay.
Okay.
So as I told you, this would not be this formula would not give you the same mean because we know we need to add subtract something.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, all right, very good. Okay,
Thank you for
so I'll
yeah.
clear the screen. Okay,
Um,
now the next thing is probability. We need to talk about probability now. Okay, now for probability, 40% content is same as O level maths. So let's talk about that. What exactly is probability? Probability is a fraction. In the numerator we have favorable outcomes, and in the denominator we have total outcomes. We know the basic idea about probability. Okay, what exactly is sample space? Sample space is list of all the possible outcomes. Let's talk about a few scenarios and then we can discuss sample space and everything. Okay, so I will talk about 1, 2, and 3 scenarios in the beginning. Okay, let's start the discussion with the simple one. So let's say we are tossing a coin. Okay, now when you are tossing a coin, what could be your sample space? When I say sample space has all the possibilities. Okay, so when you toss a coin, you can either get heads or you can get tails. That is it. So two possibilities in case of tossing a coin. Okay, let's talk about another example. So it says we are tossing 2 coins. Okay, so toss 2 coins. Now we are tossing 2 coins. Let's say, so imagine that you are tossing 2 coins at a time. What could be the possible possibilities? It could be that you are getting heads and heads on both the coins. It could be that you get tails and tails on both the coins. It could be that you get first heads and then tails. It could be that you're getting first tails and then heads. Okay. So four possibilities, right? This is giving you two. This is giving you four. Yes, Munja, do you get this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Let's talk about third one. So then let's say we are rolling a dice. So it is a dice roll. Now, when you're playing Ludo and let's say you're rolling a dice, so what are the possible outcomes? We know we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because we are rolling a cube, okay? So we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is what we get when we are rolling a cube, right? When we are rolling a dice. So here we have 6 possible outcomes. So this is what sample space looks like. For different scenarios, the sample space is going to be different. So if the question is about sample space, you should know you would just be stating all the possibilities. Okay. Yes. Mazna, please feel free to ask me if you have any questions. Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, this was a simple scenario. Now let's talk about the middle one and let's talk about a few questions then. So I'll rub this one. We don't need this one. And let's talk about a few examples from this one. Example number 1. Now this is a proper question, okay? You need to find the probability that you are getting two tails. So imagine that you were tossing two coins at a time. This is your sample space. This is your total number. So n would be 4. Usually n is basically representing the total number. The question is about finding the probability that you would get both tails. So where is both tails? This is head head. This is tail tail. So it would be very well done, Ashal. It would be 1. 1 is the favorable outcome divided by the total outcomes 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 by 4. Okay. This was a simple question. Let's say you have been asked to find probability of getting a head and a tail. Okay, now this is the probability that you need either a head or a tail. The order does not matter. Okay, it says a head and a tail. That is it. Okay, so it could be 1 and 2. So this is going to be 2 divided by
By 4.
4. So it would be 1 by 2. All right. Okay. And then last one says, I would want you guys to think about it. You need to find the probability of getting first head and second tail. Yes, Zahib, can you think about it? All of you. Even if the answer is wrong, you guys know I don't mind wrong answers at all. Yes, very good, Zahib, and very good, Ishal. Okay. Now we know first head and second tail is just one scenario right here. So it would be 1 by 4. And this is going to be your probability. Yes, Munjat, are you getting all this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Okay. So this is basically all the O-level maths that is used here as well. Okay. I'm not saying we are revising. Obviously, this is what probability is in S1 as well. And then obviously we have conditional probability in other probabilities too. But the basic idea is same. Okay. So just relax. Okay. Example number 2. So let's say a coin is tossed and a dice is rolled. Okay. So yes, can you guys please tell me the sample space for this scenario? I'll give you 1 minute.
Mm. Is it 12, ma'am? Mm.
Yes, I'm really sorry about this. I'm really sorry. Okay, yes. So I'll just check your messages. So, okay. So Vishal is saying, what do we have to find? Okay. All right. So Zahib
No.
is saying head, tails for coin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Yes, exactly. This is what it looks like. Okay. When you are tossing a coin, it is either heads or tails, and when you're rolling a die, you have 6 possibilities. But now we're talking about all of them together. Okay. So let's do it. So let's talk about the sample space first. Sample space. Okay. It could be that you are getting heads on the coin, and on the dice you are getting 1. It could be that you are again getting heads on the coin and you're getting 2. Okay. Heads 3, heads 4, and heads 5. Okay. And it could be that you were getting tails with 1 on the dice, tails with 2 on the dice, tails with 3 on the dice, tails with 4 on the dice, tails with 5 on the dice, and we have missed one, tails with heads with 6, and tails with 6. Okay. This is going to be your sample space with 12 possibilities. Yes. Any doubts with these 12 possibilities?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Yes, Munja, do you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we can have different types of questions. So let's say you have been asked to find the probability that you are getting a head and an even number on the die. So whatever it is, the total is 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The total is 12. What are the favorable outcomes in this case? You're getting a head, so we'll be focusing on the first row and an even number. So 1, 2, and 3. Very well done, Vishal. So it would be 3 by 12. So it is going to be 1 by 4. This is going to be the answer for the first one. Okay. Let's say you have been asked the probability of getting tails and factor of 12. Okay. So it says probability of tails and factor of 12. So it should be tails and factor of 12. So how many factors of 12 can we see? 1 is a factor, 2 is a factor, 3 is a factor, 4 is a factor, 6 is a factor. So 5 by 12 is going to be the answer in this case. Very good, Ashal. Excellent. Yes, any questions? Anyone, please feel free to ask me if you have any questions, okay? Munja, are you clear with this? Yes, please feel free to ask me. Zahib, Munja,
Yes,
Ishal, Masna.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about the last example for this, and then we are done with probability, like the basic probability, obviously, not all of it. Then we'll talk about conditional probability. Okay. Now, let's say you have 2 die. So, roll 2 pair dices. Okay. Now, for the previous example, we were rolling a dice and we were tossing a coin. Here we are going to roll 2 dices at a time. So let's see what could be the sample space. Okay. Now, 36 outcomes. Very well done, Zahib. Excellent. Okay. Now, it depends on the scenario. So let's say we have 2 dice. Let me just make it quickly. Okay. So you have a blue dice and then you have a red one. Okay. It could be that you are getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on the red one, and then again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the blue one. All right, okay, let me write this down neatly. 3 and 4, and this is for the red one. Okay, so these are all the possibilities. It could be that you're getting 4 on the red die, 1 on the blue one, then let's say 2 on the blue one, 1 on the red one, 3 on blue, 1 on red, 4 on blue, 1 on red, 5 on blue, 1 on red, and then 6 on blue, 1 on red, and so on, right? All these dots, you would be having 36 dots because you have 36 outcomes in this case. Okay, let's talk about the questions here. So, the first one says, what is the probability that both same scores? All right, now what is the probability that on both the dices you're getting the same number? Okay, so 1 1, 2 2, 3 3, then 4 and 4, then we have 5 and 5, and then we have 6 and 6. So in total 6 many possibilities. Okay, 6 divided by the total number, that was 36. So this is going to give you 1 by 6. Now the next question is for you guys. Just type the answer in the chat box. It says probability of getting different scores or not same scores. Yes. Well done, Ashal. Yes, very good. Mazna, you answered the previous question correctly. Very good. Mundia, excellent. 30 by, okay, yes, very good, Zahib. Well done, all of you. Perfect. Okay. Now, one way of doing this is just directly counting that we know this, and all the other ones other than this diagonal are going to be for not the same. So that if this is 6, it would be 36 minus 6, that would be 30 divided by 36. Okay. One way of doing this question is this, that you think about it this way. Another way is this, as we have been talking about standard deviation and variance, we have discussed sum of probabilities for one scenario is 1. Okay. So if probability of getting same scores is 1 by 6, probability of getting not same scores would be 1 minus 1 by 6, and that would give you 5 by 6. So you can do it either ways, but I would strongly advise you guys to get comfortable with this concept. Okay. This is basically used, let's say you are rolling a dice, for example, and probability of getting 6 is 1 by 6. Probability of getting probability of not getting 6 means you can get 1 2 3 4 5, so that would be 5 by 6. Let's say we talk about a coin. Okay, you're tossing a coin and you are getting heads. Probability of getting heads is 1 by 2. Probability of not getting heads would be 1 minus 1 by 2, that at the end would be 1 by 2. Okay, so please get comfortable with this thing that we do 1 minus the probability. Okay, and then the last one is this, probability that the sum of both these scores is greater than 10. Okay, think about it and then just type the answer. Okay, just read the question again. The sum is greater than 10. Okay, I got two answers. Let's see. It says greater than 10. Okay, so let's say I get 1 on the red die. Now I know that whatever score I get on the blue one, the sum is not going to be 10. Yes, Ashal, your answer is correct. Very good. And Zahib, yes. Okay, let's see. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, so we know that if we are getting 1 on the red one or 1 on blue one, no other score would add up to make it greater than 10. If I have 2, 2 plus 6 is 8. Even that is not greater than 10. So if I add 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that would not be greater than 10. If I talk about 3, again 3 plus 6, because 6 is the biggest number. So 3 plus 6 is giving me 9. So 3 plus all the other numbers would give me less than 10. So that is not the number. 4, 4 plus 6 is giving me 10. Still it is not greater than 10. 5 would work, okay? So 5 plus 6 would give me greater than 10. So this is the first one. Then 6 plus 6. This is the second one because that would give me 12. And then let's say I was getting 5 on the blue one and then 6 on the red one. So only these three outcomes are my favorable outcomes. So it would be 3 divided by 36 and it would give me 1 by 12. This is going to be the answer. Yes, Munja, Mazna, Ishal and Zahib. Do you guys understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Perfect. Okay. Now let's talk about the last concept for today. That is about tree diagrams. Okay. Now we all have studied tree diagrams and we do realize the importance because we know at times for solving these probability questions, we are not able to think otherwise. We need to make the tree diagrams for understanding it properly. Okay. Let's say you have a scenario. So there's a boy and he is going to his school either through walk or by bus or by cycling. Okay, he has three different ways and it depends on the day. If it is a rainy day, he's doing something. If it is a sunny day, he's doing something. So I'll make the probability tree. I'll make the tree diagram. So the first one is if the day is rainy, and then if the day is sunny. Okay, the probability that it would be a rainy day is 7 by 9. And obviously, the probability that if it would be a sunny day would be 1 minus 7 by 9. So it would be 2 by 9. Because in O levels maths, we know rule number 1. I'll write down rules here. Sum of all branches coming out from same point is 1. Okay, so this is the point. We have two branches. If this is 7 by 9, this would be 1 minus 7 by 9. That would be 2 by 9. Okay, all right, this is rule number 1. Always remember this. Okay, now if the day is rainy, he can go by walk, he can go by cycling, he can go by bus. But let's see the probability. Okay, obviously if the day is rainy, so by walk it would be 1/7. By bus it is 2/7. And I would want you guys to answer this. What would be the probability that it is a rainy day and he's going through cycling? Yes.
4/7.
Very good. Well done. Very well done. Okay. 4/7. Excellent. Okay. And then again for sunny day, we have three scenarios now. Walk. So walk is 2/7. Okay, no, wait, let's change this a bit. Let's say we have two scenarios only. So he's either going by bus or he's going by cycle. And this is 2/7. And let's say this is 5/7. Okay, now I've made the tree diagram for you guys completely. Let's talk about the questions here. So the first one says, what is the probability that it is a rainy day and he is going by bus?
Mm.
It is a rainy day and he's going by bus. So let's just first encircle that. A rainy day and he's going by bus. Okay, and now I'll write down the rule. So this is the first one, the second one. Branch total. Branch total means if you have one branch and then you're going to the other one, then to the other one, branch total probability is basically calculated by multiplication. Okay, you need to multiply. So what do? We very good, Zahib. We will do, for rain it is 7/9. For bus it is 2/7. So 7 and 7 can be cancelled and the answer is going to be 2/9. Yes, Sahib, check your answer once again. It should be 2/9. Yes. Okay. Because look, it says what is the probability that it is a rainy day and is going by bus. It is very easy. We have the tree diagram in front of us. We can directly just encircle the part. Okay. Now we know for branch total, we are multiplying, and also through O-level maths we know whenever we had the word and, we are multiplying. And means multiplication basically. Okay, so rain and bus would be this. Okay, yes, I'm sorry, you are correct. Yes. Okay, all right, perfect. Then the second one says, what is the probability that he is going by cycle? Yes. And the third rule is, for more than one branch, you need to add individual branch totals. Okay. It says, what is the probability that he's going by cycle? Now it could be it is a rainy day and he's going by cycle, and it could be it is a sunny day and he's going by cycle. So please be careful about including the previous part as well. Okay. A rainy day and cycle and a sunny day and cycle. So if we have two different branches, we are going to add them. More than one branch, so we add it up. Yeah, Zahib, yes, very well done. Excellent. Very good. Okay. So please do not say that it would be 4/7 plus 5 by 7. No. 4 by 7 is just the probability of cycling. If it is a yeah, that is it. Okay. Not if it is a rainy day. If you want to include that, you need to do it this way. So always remember, we need to multiply the complete branch and then add in the other branch total. So it is going to give you the probability of rainy day and cycling plus probability of sunny day and cycling. Okay. So rainy day and cycling would be 7 by 9 multiplied by 4 by 7 plus sunny day, that is 2 by 9, and cycling, that is 5 by 7. So when you will simplify this, 7 and 7 would be cancelled. This would become 38 by 63. This is going to be your answer. And this is the last thing for today. Yes, Ishal, Mazna, Munja, and Zahib. Any doubts? Anyone? If you have 1% doubt as well, you can just ask me directly. Anything that you were not able to understand? Any problems?
No, ma'am.
All right. And what about you? Okay, very good, Mazna. And what about you, Munja?
Thank you.
Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. So I'll stop sharing the screen. I'll stop the recording.